That's the tough thing with an auction, is like, that's why an auctioneer doesn't know what he thinks he's
Well,
gonna
and
be.
well, it was a
$25 goes way up.
This is something
Oh, it's silent.
it's something that just didn't, it's just. And then when you're older, like, you don't want more stuff. You're getting rid of stuff. You're getting rid of stuff. It was, but it was nice. And everybody was so sweet.
Yeah, right. How late are you keeping it open?
All right, I've got 10 o'clock. Joan, I think you're gonna have the invocation for us? Joan, you're gonna have the invocation, sorry. Please rise for the invocation and pledge, please.
First of all, I would like to say thank you for inviting me to pray. And I don't know if a lot of people in our county know this, but our governor gives a proclamation every year for the last 8 years to encourage all 99 counties to read the Bible on the seat of authority, which would be the courtyard. And we have been blessed so much in this county because last week we had our Bible reading marathon here. We had so many people come to read the Bible. We read the entire Bible in 3.5 days. So this is a blessed county. And today I'd like to pray. Father, we give you thanks for our country that was built by our founding fathers using your word as its foundation. We pray that men and women serving in leadership positions in our country today will have the same wisdom and insight that comes from learning what you say through your word given to us so long ago. Your word declares that blessed is the nation whose God is the Lord, Psalm 33:12. So today I pray that all those serving in our government at all levels will honor you in all that they do. Today I lift up especially all those in our county level, including our supervisors, our law enforcement, and all others who serve in our community. May the decisions that they make be the best for everyone, and especially be pleasing to you. May they be women and men of integrity, not moved by what they hear, say, or feel, but only moved by doing what is right according to your word. And in closing, I pray that everyone in our county will realize how blessed we are in this beautiful county with so many people willing to serve, who are thoughtful, caring, and willing to work together for the best of everyone. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the
flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Joan.
Thank you, Joan. Thanks, Joan.
Okay, I'll go ahead and call our meeting to order. And I have a roll call, please.
Good.
Hudson.
Here.
Fitch.
Here.
Supervisor Stancil.
Here.
All present. Okay, we have a couple amendments on the agenda. First, the treasurer's resolution T0092623A will be amended to T0092623B, basically just to change some dollar amounts on that. And also we're going to amend to include a courthouse use permit for courthouse tours during the Covered Bridge Festival. Oh, and public comment will be between the public hearing and the resolutions. So with those, can I have
Between the, okay, I'm sorry.
public hearing and resolution? Okay. Public comment. Can I have a motion to amend the agenda?
So moved.
Motion by Heather. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Motion, second by Diane. All in favor of amending the agenda indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Next, can I have a motion to approve the consent agenda, including the amendments?
I'd like to pull out the minutes for September 5th for further discussion. So I move we approve the consent agenda excluding that.
I think those minutes were fine. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Okay,
Have to vote on.
I have a motion to approve the consent agenda as amended without the September 5th minutes. All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Nay. Motion denied.
So the minutes are inaccurate for the record, they are inaccurate. So we just approved minutes that are not accurate for September 5th.
We didn't approve anything yet. Can I have a motion to approve the consent agenda with the amendments as included? I have a motion, is there a second? I would second that. Any further discussion? If not, all in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed?
Nay.
Motion carries. All right, next we have the public hearings. First one, can I have a motion to enter into a public hearing regarding the FY 23-24 budget?
So moved.
Motion by Diane, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Heather. All those in favor of entering a public hearing at 10:05 indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, any opposed? Motion carries. Shelley, you're up.
All right, so this is an amendment for the FY 24 budget. It was published in the paper on September 13th. So a lot of this is just some cleanup stuff. The ambulance department, I'm increasing their expenses by $11,841. This is to cover a 3-year service agreement for some equipment. It was budgeted last year, but they didn't get the invoice in time, so we just need those expenses in this year. The sheriff's office received the ICAC grant, so I'm amending his budget by $1,000 to allow him to be able to spend that $1,000. Environmental health and zoning both needed an amendment to cover some additional insurance coverage for an employee that lost coverage elsewhere. Non-departmental budget, CDBG grant payments, about $100,000 for that. You'll see that there's revenue down for that as well. And then also non-departmental, I increased for the rest of what's left for the ARPA funds, and also there's I keep getting invoices for the conservation litigation costs. So we have those on there as well as of what I have right now. I know I had another bill on that, so we'll need to discuss at some point how we're gonna keep funding those litigation payments. The other thing is the capital projects fund increased by $5,000. That was just grant expenses for the courthouse construction. So revenue is $1,000 for the sheriff's ICAC grant, $30,000 for the grant revenue for courthouse construction, and then additional revenue that I hadn't already amended last year, $83,447 for CDBG grant funds. So total fund balance decreased $248,687.
Shouldn't the insurance be picking up the cost for the litigation?
I don't know where that's at. I mean, I've not been a part of any of those meetings, so.
Okay. We should probably look into that, because that should be covered by our.
John, can you reach out to
I'll
Steve
check
on
on
that? Thank you.
And if they end up covering it, we'll obviously reimburse, but,
Does that have to do another amendment to?
obviously, because of the state auditors and their reimbursement
Okay.
laws.
Okay.
That doesn't make sense to me,
It
but
doesn't to me either.
at all. Because they're making you show it as revenue, but it's a wash.
Yeah, I don't agree with it, but
That will go
we're
back.
bound by the state laws
But
or
we don't
state
have much
auditor's
choice.
office.
No.
Yeah, we don't have any choice.
I mean, that's the biggest chunk of this. Is that accurate?
No,
Oh.
it's, the litigation expenses, I think, for this one was about 16 grand.
Oh,
The other is the American Rescue Fund cleanup for what was left. Yeah,
okay.
but I do have another bill, that I got for more litigation, so, but it was after this was already published, so I couldn't add it.
Okay, so we should figure that out sooner rather than later.
Correct.
All right. Shelley, did you receive any comment regarding this?
No, no comments.
Just
Anything
clean
else
up.
that you want to add?
No, I don't think so.
Anyone from the public wish to comment on these amendments? Seeing none, can I have a motion to adjourn this public hearing?
So moved.
Motion by Diane, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Heather, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing is adjourned at 10:09 a.m. Next, we have a public hearing. Can I have a motion to enter into a public hearing to request a subdivision of land owned by TBI Enterprises at the 1300 block Hogback Ridge Road. Is there a motion by Diane, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Heather, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries, we're in public hearing at 10:09 a.m. Ryan, everything was published as appropriate?
It was.
Did you receive any written comment?
I did, and I will cover that.
Perfect, in my report, thank you.
Okay, so TBI Enterprises, property owner Isaac Tessmer is requesting final subdivision plat approval for Quinn's Gate subdivision, which is 4 lots. The acreage, total acreage amount included in this is 20.83. And the Board of Supervisor action is required. The final plat is not approved until Board of Supervisors approval. Current legal use, the current parcel contains a 2-story farmhouse constructed in 1920, a steel utility building, small storage bin, and a dilapidated machine shed, all of which are early 1900 structures. Current land use shows, other than the residential area, to be row crop production and pasture. Relevant history here, TBI Enterprises purchased the west half of the northeast quarter and the southwest quarter, which is 20 acres from William and Leanne Ely on March 1st, 2023 for $335,000. TBI Enterprise LLC acquired title to parcel D by warranty deed from Carl and Sarah Tessmer on August 29th, 2023. A new 1,500-gallon septic tank was installed prior to TBI Enterprises purchasing the property due to a failed time transfer inspection on the previous tank. This is for the existing home. There is roughly 4/10 of an acre in proposed Outlot A, which falls into the FEMA flood zone area. The 3 other lots are outside the FEMA flood zone area. Staff has determined the CSR of the area to be 69.84. This is just under the 70 CSR2 rating called out by the comprehensive plan as prime productive agricultural land. Staff recommended an outlot be platted on the southeast side of the creek, which has been predominantly in row crop production for a number of years and is now contiguously farmed with Carl Tessmer, which would be Isaac's father. Carl owns the adjoining ag land to the east of this plat. Platting this outlot is used to ultimately discourage this being sold or utilized as a building lot. The lawful fence requirement shall exclude Outlot A that is being contiguously farmed. A lawful fence, however, shall be constructed for lots 1, 2, and 3, except the properties where they abut the county road. The plat was determined that it is not within 2 miles of any incorporated limits, therefore no additional review is necessary. Access from Hogback Ridge Road has been approved by the Madison County Engineer's Office for a driveway location to serve Lot 1 and Outlot A. Outlot A by a recorded easement through a portion of Lot 1, as you can see on the plat provided. Lot 2 and 3 have approved access off of Hogback Ridge Road, which is, both of those are existing locations. These will be the only entrances of record for Quinn's Gate subdivision, other than there's an additional easement to be recorded south after the approval of the subdivision to access Outlot A, which is owned by Carl and Sarah Tessmer.
The gravel road to the south, what road is that?
It's not a,
Is it just an egress?
yeah, it's a driveway back in there.
Okay.
So the easement for this driveway will be between the landowners.
The easement, say
For
that
this,
again.
for the driveway will be between the landowners? Do they don't each have their own separate driveway?
Yes, they do.
They do.
Yes,
Except for Outlot A, which will
Yeah.
access through Lot 1.
correct.
Yeah.
Or
Or
the
through
gravel road.
The other way.
Or the gravel road access.
The gravel access to the south. So I received comment from Dave Elgin. His address is 4710 Park Circle, West Des Moines. He's an adjoining landowner to the south. He said, I received a letter about the proposed Quinn's Gate minor subdivision that is within 500 feet of my property. I'm 100% in favor of the subdivision. It will take marginal land and use it for something more valuable, raising Madison County tax base. It will help lower taxes and give some people the ability to live in the country. I received another comment from Nancy Forrest, address 2299 155th Street. Nancy called and spoke to me regarding this subdivision. Nancy stated that there are many small-scale farmers that would be interested in purchasing this property in its entirety if the price was right, and therefore would eliminate the potential for the additional 2 building lots. Nancy also wanted to bring attention and consideration of the small creek that lies between lots 2 and 3 and Outlaw A, as this runs directly south, draining into North Branch, which eventually drains into North River. Her concerns are soil erosion and displacement during the building process on lots 1 and 2. And then comment from Conservation Board. Office has reviewed the information provided for Quinn's Gate subdivision request, reviewing the property application with the resource and time-lapse imagery. Our conclusion is that much of the property has been disturbed by different agricultural practices up to and including 1930s imagery. That being said, the property still plays an important role in water quality and wildlife corridors. The native vegetation for the dominant soil type for this site is wet upland prairie, not wetland, sorry. The other soil type on this site, native vegetation, consists of tilled upland prairie. Based on historic maps, this site has been disturbed by either agricultural practices or in other ways. The property lies in North Branch Creek watershed, which flows into the North River. Based on aerial imagery and soil surveys, this site plays an important role in the drainage of water in this area. Allowing for more disturbance and land use changes of this area could have an impact on this watershed. With the lack of information of land use history and site evaluation, it is difficult to know the full extent of the impacts by subdividing and allowing structures to be built on this site will have. If development is allowed, construction development should be considered.
Okay.
If development is allowed, what should be considered?
Construction or conservation
Okay.
development should be considered.
So it's an upland.
The native soil types are upland prairies, the majority of the soil types, and then the secondary soil type was tilled upland prairie, which is more of a fluffier soil type, as opposed to a wet soil type.
But there's structures on there now.
There's one house on lot 3 now.
Okay.
But you said it was dilapidated? Or that
No,
was the
those are the
outbuildings?
older buildings, and some of those may have been removed, I don't know, but the house will be sold and used. It's in fine shape, I believe.
So lot 3 is basically, there's
I think there's a
residential
residence
house
there.
there.
Yeah.
And then lot 2, it looks like from aerials, is that tilled?
There is, it was crop field there. I've had some input on that as far as equipment nowadays. It's kind of difficult to get in large equipment to farm something like that, so I didn't see a huge harm in platting that as a lot. Most people, unless they're in the area, are not gonna take something on like that with larger equipment, but
Okay.
Okay. Hey, do you have anything else, Ryan?
that's it for me.
Anyone from the public wish to comment on this regarding this hearing?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Please come to the podium, state your name and address for the record.
Brian Morris, 21455 280th Street, Adel. I'm the adjoining landowner to Lot 1. I have a couple of concerns. Mostly just nuts and bolts type concerns. I've got essentially an access drive across my south edge that crosses two waterways, streams, that each crossing is a pretty much continuous stream, not this year, but that's a continuous stream. I don't have a lot of worries about that. The west crossing, there is a dam drop inlet structure that was constructed there probably 50 years ago. Below it, just below that dam, inside the fence line is a tile outlet. Need to, any development and especially drives just to the south of my south property line, need to take that into account, and the level of the quote stream bed, so it will not affect my tile outlet. That's pretty much, that's my biggest concern. And then at the road, the access drive to that parcel would adjoin my driveway. I think there's a pipe under that driveway. I'm wondering if I will be involved in replacing that drive, replacing that pipe when that access is put in for Platinum One.
Your driveway is, oh, I'm sorry, you're to, okay, I got my directions wrong. I see Morris Family Trust, you're actually to the north of Lot.
To the north,
Got
yes.
it. I think you care to address those concerns?
Yeah, I can address those specifically, or I can jump up for public comment
Why don't you
here.
jump up for public comment?
Okay,
Share
sure.
the record. State your name and address to the record.
Sure. Isaac Tesmer, 1968, 105th Street, Norwalk. Appreciate everyone's consideration with this. To the adjoining property to the north, I know this is not official record, but we're more than happy to work with you and try to make sure there's no backup concerns. And we're farming there to the south of you, so as with anything, we always want to make sure that anything we do, if it's terracing or driveways, wouldn't affect your use. So I don't know what more specifically to say about that. I can say to Lot 1, we do have a good friend who's purchasing that or intending on purchasing it as soon as, and if this all goes through. I'd be happy to put us all in touch together to make sure that you're happy with whatever we do there. He currently lives right in Earlham, and so that's really all I have to add with those concerns. But no, I just, in general, I wanted to say that this is the first time I've gone through this process, and it was a learning curve. But I want to make sure I say publicly, everybody in Madison County that I work with was really helpful. Every department. I'm a contractor and do most of my work in Polk County, and so it was a breath of fresh air to work with Madison County. So as a Madison County resident, I was really proud of our county. And Ryan was really helpful too in helping me through this first time. But appreciate your consideration. I did want to make a comment on the CSR. I believe there might be people here that can verify the higher CSR ground is actually in Outlaw A. So what would be the only potentially buildable lot that's currently in row crop is Lot 2. And I think that was a lower CSR, so the higher CSR ground is going to stay as agricultural. We have 2 buyers ready to go. That's Lot 1, and then the existing house, which is Lot 3. Lot 2, we have no intention on doing anything with anytime soon. It's just kind of going to be sitting there for if anybody ever needs it.
If you're farming in the neighborhood, it might get farmed too.
Yeah, and we're currently farming it. It is really tight for equipment. I mean, it's like maybe 2 acres total of row crop. It gets really tight getting in and out of there. So we'll continue to farm it for a few years, and I don't know what will happen with Lot 2, but it was just the most logical to make it a buildable lot.
Is this wet on a normal year?
So outlot A is low, it's kind of hard to tell topals on a, so outlot A is pretty low, and it's tiled. Lot 3.
Pattern
lot-
tile or just tiled out? Probably 4 inch.
Yeah, we haven't owned it very long. I think there's a couple of tile lines going through there, and we're probably gonna add more now that, because we've only owned this, that for less than a year now, so.
And outlaw A you'll keep as farm ag ground?
Yep, and it's currently farmed, as Ryan said, contiguously with Dad's field there.
So your corn bean rotation?
Mhm. Yep, and, so TBI Enterprises is my brother and I, Jacob, and we actually rent the farm ground from Carl. So we're the tenants of the farm to the east, and so it's just farmed contiguous to there, and that's just our long-term plan. Yep. So, but that lot number 2 is not as good a ground, and it's pretty small, so. Other than that, yeah, I've got two people that are really excited about, well, one family in Earlham moving into the house, and then another guy that's currently living in Earlham that's really excited about being able to build.
So you would be willing to work with Mr. Morris to assure that he's not ever obstructed or affected by the?
Yeah, no different than if we were putting in a farm field road or a terrace, you know, doing it would be no different than anything we do. Oh, and I didn't, go ahead.
I had a comment about your question about pattern tiling. I grew up right across the road. I do not recall that outlot A, or the outlot, ever being pattern tiled. You know,
We just brought a couple tile lines through there last year.
yeah, okay.
Or last, I think in early
year or so
spring to go through there.
Prior to that, I
Right,
don't recall
okay.
any kind of
Yeah.
tiling in that area.
Okay. And I didn't address the concern about the driveway entrance, and so we'll work with you on that, on connecting that through, you know, connecting to the existing tube,
Okay.
or whatever, you know, be neighborly as we always would be, so.
Isaac, you have anything else?
That's all I have.
Anyone else from the public wish to speak on this matter?
And thank you for your consideration.
You're welcome, thank you. Okay. If not, can I have a motion to adjourn this public hearing at 10:27 a.m.? Motion by Diane, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Heather, all in favor indicate. Aye, any opposed? Motion carries. Next, we have a public hearing to request a replat of the hillside subdivision owned by J&S Henriksen on the 3000 block of 120th Street in Lee Township. Can I have a motion to enter into public hearing?
So moved.
Motion by Heather, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Diane, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries, we're in public hearing at 10:27 a.m. Ryan, everything was published as required?
It was.
Okay, go ahead and do your presentation, please.
Okay, so the applicant and property owner are the same on this one, John and Stacy Henderson. Currently zoned agricultural, number of acres is 19.38 in total, number of lots is 2. This is already a platted subdivision, known as Hillside subdivision. Not looking to add any additional lots, just to kind of maneuver the lines that fall within lot 1 and 2, which they are owners of both, to more fit their plan of building location. Again, Board of Supervisors action is required. This plat is not approved until Board of Supervisors approval. Current legal use, Lot 1 of Hillside subdivision contains a 1-story brick dwelling constructed in 1955, which was totally remodeled between November of 2021 and November 2022. There is a detached metal building that is 32 by 46 that was constructed in 1979. The detached metal building will be removed from this site and moved to another county to be reconstructed. It currently does not meet the setback requirements, and they want to get it out of there anyways. Lot 2 of Hillside subdivision did have an older dwelling and several outbuildings on this, but these have since been demolished and in preparation of constructing a new outbuilding and a new dwelling for the current owners. Other than the residentially used areas for lot 1 and 2, there are roughly 6 acres of land in row crop production, and the southeastern portion of lot 2, and roughly 7 acres of timber between the 2 lots.
Will the timber be disturbed?
There might be a little bit, it'd be south and west of where the house on lot 1 is, for the placement of the house on lot 2, but I don't know exactly how much.
Is it good timber or weed trees?
I don't know, I didn't visit site.
It's weed.
Weed trees?
Yeah, it's bad.
So it's like,
Our goal is to clean it up. It's,
mulberries and then,
yes. Yeah.
Relevant history, this property was purchased from the estate of Beverly Dykehold by court officer deed on November 24th, 2021 by R&T Investments for $475,000. R&T Investments, as I mentioned earlier, remodeled the home between November 21 and November 22. R&T Investments then sold both lots 1 and 2 to Hillside Subdivision to the current owners, John and Stacy Hendrickson, on November 16th of 2022 for $815,000 by warranty deed. Both lots 1 and 2 are located outside any FEMA flood zone area. The staff has determined the CSR2 of this area to be 62.1. Madison County's current comprehensive plan states that anything above 70 should be protected from development. That's not the case here. This plat is within 2 miles of the city of West Des Moines. Therefore, additional review was required, and resolution number 23-09-18-15 is included, and accompanying subdivision documents, approval and release of the replat of Hillside Subdivision by the city of West Des Moines. So they basically didn't have any comment or any restrictions or whatever placed on there. Access from 120th Street was accepted in the original plat of Hillside Subdivision in 2010. Those driveways were in existence prior to the land being platted as a subdivision originally. A new driveway application was made proposing a driveway to the west of the existing west driveway to serve lot 2, but was denied by the engineer's office due to a lack of site distance. The 2 existing driveway entrances will be the only entrances of record for replat of Hillside Subdivision.
Okay, Ryan, do you have anything else?
I do not.
what's the probability of this probably someday being annexed into West Des Moines?
I can't honestly answer that, I have no idea. As we all know that it's kind of creeping that way, but
It's on their comprehensive plan to do so.
To take,
They
yeah.
generally don't like rural subdivisions. because
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
Creates a whole new project.
Yeah.
Okay. Did
Is
you receive
this-
any written comment on this, Ryan?
I did not.
Anyone from the public wish to comment at this time?
Yeah, just look. Hi, my name is Tyler Rinnen, the owner, 3082 120th Street, just to the east of this subdivision. Lot 1 of Lake Shore Estates. I just wanted to show up today, no idea how this stuff works, so thanks for giving me a second. Just wanted to comment on that east tree line. That's pretty important to my family. That's the only thing that really separates these 2 lots from a sightline perspective, but that tree line also holds the integrity of that ditch that eventually goes right down into our private drive, that south drive that goes from 120th Street down to lot 1 and 2 of Lake Shore Estates. So the only thing I wanted to say was that that's a really important tree line to my family. If we were to ever have any car headlights coming from the west to the east there, that would go into my front door, my baby's room, nursery. Just wanted to make sure we had some semblance of privacy maintained from that perspective, but that's really the only comment that I had.
So you don't want the trees removed?
I would like the trees to remain I think that would be in the best mutual interest of both of us,
I would-
yeah, for privacy.
I would think so. really, we're just moving a property line, it's already subdivided, so nothing. really
Yeah, I
changes.
just wanted to make the comment and, I think it's mutually beneficial, but wanted to state that.
You
opinion.
probably, do you have room on your own lot? You probably could go to the NRCS and sign up for a windbreak and put your own trees. You can do a windbreak at a cost share program, and so you could establish your own trees as a break there.
Okay,
You could do, they would help you, you could see if that program's still applicable for you.
okay.
You could call it a windbreak, I don't know.
Sounds like that tree line's beneficial to
Yeah.
parties concerned, I
Yeah.
would think.
But
Yeah.
you just stated they're just junk trees.
Are you to the east?
We're to the east.
Yeah, we have, if we do anything, we're gonna add more pines.
Oh, okay.
We bought that to box it in and keep it quaint, so
Okay.
those trees will not be disturbed.
Okay. I
To the
thought this
west,
might-
there's timber, and we're just gonna clean that up, put walking paths in there. But that butts up to another timber, so there's nobody over there.
Okay, yeah, originally I thought the plan for this was to break it into 4 lots or something like that.
No.
Somebody had spoken to Manuel, my neighbor, and I about doing that, so maybe that's since changed, but
That was the
fine.
previous owners
Yeah.
Okay,
that we bought it from,
okay,
that were gonna do that.
all right, well, that's all I had, thank you
Thank you.
for your time.
Well, that was easy.
Yeah.
Anyone else? Yes, sir. Please state your name and address for the record.
Sure. I'm 3084 120th neighbors with, same thing, you know, we don't have any problems with whatever is the plan, but just to keep it makes us feel more, I don't know, private, or that's my only
So
concern.
you want the trees to remain?
Yes.
Okay.
Same thing with
What was your name, sir?
Manuel Benegas. Lot 2
Lot
from.
2, just south of Tyler's lot. Okay, thanks,
That's
man.
it, yep.
Thank you.
And you really could check into tree plantings, and you could do windbreaks, and you could do 2 rows of evergreens, hardwoods.
Yeah, I agree.
Check into those.
All right, anyone else wish to comment on this matter? If not, can I have a motion to adjourn this hearing?
So moved.
Motion by Diane, is there a second?
Second.
By Heather, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries, we're adjourned at 10:37. All right, forgive me, I'm about ready to lose my voice, so we'll try to get through here. First, we have a resolution to hire,
Public comment.
oh, I'm sorry, thank you.
Thanks,
This is-
guys.
Thank you.
Welcome.
This is normally time for public comment during your agenda. Does anyone from the public wish to comment at this time? Yes.
Jeff Newman, 1179, 220th, Winterset. On the agenda several weeks ago, we got an update by our IT person on the DHS/CISA. DHS doing a physical audit of our county buildings, and CISA to quote Jen, to try and penetrate our system, our election systems. And I'd just like the board, and I hope you would too, to get an update. And the sheriff also agreed to accompany DHS in their audit, since he's ultimately responsible. So I'd like to see, and I hope you would too, to get an update from our auditor and or Jen, the IT reports to the auditor, on how those audits work and what was done. And that's really all I have, so
Thank you, Joe.
I'd like to get it on the agenda maybe for next
Well,
meeting,
there-
or you guys
The
decide.
report's already being done, and when the report's is completed,
Yeah.
I'm sure it'll be available. Is that correct?
A lot of that is protected information.
Okay, all right. All right, thanks, Joe.
Okay, so protected information, so we don't get anything?
It means it's confidential, and it can't be shared with the public.
Okay, thanks.
Any other public comment this morning? If not, we'll move into our resolutions. First one is the auditor's resolution to hire Kate Garrick
Scarrick, yep, Kelly Scarrick.
as a full-time HR director effective October 2nd. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
I have a motion by Diane, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Heather, any further discussion? If not, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Do you need me to take over? Did you
Battle through. Next, we have an IT resolution approving VPN net access to T-Condor. Is there a motion to approve?
And that's our new attorney?
Assistant attorney, yes.
Yeah, so moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion and a second, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. So the sheriff's resolution is approving the payment of $68,668.33 to Zetron Inc. for Sheriff's Communications System from the American Rescue Fund. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Motion by Heather, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Diane, any further discussion? If not, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. So Supervisor resolution appointing Teddy Egger to the Historic Preservation Commission. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Motion by Diane, is there a second?
Second.
Second from Heather, any further discussion?
She's already been helping a lot.
Should be seamless transition there.
Yeah.
If there's no other discussion, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next, we have Supervisor resolution for the decommissioning of several items in the lower level of Madison County Annex. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Motion by Diane, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Heather, any further discussion? If not, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. We have Supervisor resolution approving change order 33 in the amount of $4,628.80 to create access to 2 windows in color jury room. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Motion by Heather, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Diane. Any further discussion? If not, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next is a supervisor resolution approving change request 31 in the amount of $14,753.20 for modification and the scope of the door hardware for the courthouse renovation project. This would be the automatic openers on the south doors. Is there a motion to approve?
Well, so moved.
Motion by Diane, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Heather, any further discussion?
Now, what happens if, they decide that they're not gonna give us credit? We've already approved this.
I guess this is where we take them at their word for what they said last Tuesday. But the thing is, we don't know if that is it $5,000 or is it $500?
And we'll discuss this at the second meeting, and then we can have that noted.
But we
because
need to approve this to get that stuff.
Yes, we have to prove it so they can order it.
Okay.
Okay, that said, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next is supervisor resolution according to Jay Gibson and Mike Ham to the Veterans Affairs Commission. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Motion by Diane, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Heather, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Next resolution is approving appointment of boards and commissions policy effective today. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Motion by Diane, is there a second? Second by Heather, any further discussion? If not, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries. Next resolution is approving the amendment to the FY24 budget. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Motion by Diane, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Heather, any further discussion? If not, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Next resolution is approving the FY24 budget appropriations. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Motion by Diane, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Heather, any further discussion? If not, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. We're going to table the next resolution for Aaron to provide further input on. We have secondary roads. Resolution approving temporary road closing on Terrace Avenue. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Motion by Diane, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Heather, any further discussion? If not, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next will be Treasurer's Office Resolution 092623B, approve tax abatement for parcels purchased by West Des Moines in July of '21. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Motion by Heather, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Diane, any further discussion? If not, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next is zoning resolution approving the request for the Queen Gate subdivision. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Motion by Heather, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Diane, any further discussion? If not, all those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next is the zoning resolution approving a request to replat the hillside subdivision. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Motion by Heather, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Diane, any further discussion? If not, all those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
And what did you do about I? We just skipped over that.
That's the one Erin talked to, and she wants to work on.
Yeah, we
Is that
tabled
one?
that, so we just.
Okay, if we had too many more, we start to have AA and AB and.
Yeah.
All right, next we have the courthouse use permit for tours during Cover Bridge Festival. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Motion by Diane, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Heather, any further discussion? If not, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. All right, I'm gonna shut up a little bit. Board member reports.
Oh, first thing.
Yeah, we got the time capsule done, it's reburied. I had a landfill meeting there. I did reach out to the lawyer, and we won that court case over the road, or that 14 acres, and for some reason, he's appealing it, but the lawyer said it will not go anywhere, because the landfill's had it for many years. We have not built the road. So there's our new building sitting here, and they would have to go way in at the new building, go dump in the old pit, go back on 92 and then go way back again. They're not gonna, they're just gonna drive off. So I called the lawyer and he said, build the road. So we've had that forever. That's been a
So
frustrating.
he's advising to build the road even though the.
It's an appeal, but he says it won't go anywhere. The landfill really wanted is adverse ownership. They've had it forever. They have relief wells on it, they've had a road on it. The person purchased it at $5,000. Who wants it? It's in the middle of a landfill. And so, and he's just appealing it, but it's not gone anywhere, and he's not filed the papers, so the lawyer said, build the road and get moving on this. I painted the covered bridge at St. Charles, and as I said previously, we had one end painted and somebody came and wrote on our fresh paint. I did participate in the Bible Marathon and I attended CISA. That's it.
Okay. So I attended the forum they had for the public health survey that they did. That was very informative. We had a safety committee meeting, we talked about that, trying to think of ways to spend, that we need for safety, so that's what we're doing right now. I have a Matura meeting tonight. I also participated in the Bible reading and the bridge painting. I still have vestiges of that paint that won't come off. So
Must be good paint.
it'll eventually come off. Yeah, so that is, I unfortunately missed the training they had and the changes in the law. Did you want to give an update on that?
It was, I have really mixed feelings, and they got pretty hammered. It was, if you have 3% growth.
They got hammered meaning?
Well, it's kind of typical state, cart before the horse. So if you have 3% growth or more, then you have the formula, so of how you can tax, but, and they showed the formulas and told it. I think some of this they're going to have to tweak and rework, because like a lot of supervisors, like where I live, you just keep asking for more school bonds, and people don't, they cap the county at what they can take in, but then they providing more services because they have over 3% growth. It was, some of it I questioned how they're gonna do this formula, so you wanna stay under 2.999.
It seemed very complicated.
It kind of.
I was trying to follow it in the new law, and I'm like, how do you?
I don't know, and you have a lot of auditors that just really beat them to death. Okay, so I'm going to take, and they were very clever on how to.
Unfortunately, you're shooting the messenger at this point.
We kind of are, because they have nothing to do with it, and they did clearly state that, but
Yeah, I don't fully
legislators.
understand the growth. I mean, let's say you're Dallas County, you have 10% growth year
Yes.
after year. Well, 10% growth requires increases in services, so you're gonna cap them at 3% growth even though they had 10%.
I think what we'll
Growth in
probably see is
services.
less tax abatements from this.
I think that's true, and I think you'll see some of these, like Pope, I think he told me they're $1.75. Okay, but you've got all this commercial industry and you've got a very sound infrastructure. You get somebody all new moving in, that's very difficult to, so I don't know, I think there's a lot of tweaking that they're going to have to say, oh gee, maybe we should have asked before we implemented
That
this.
never happens.
Never.
So are they gonna come out with more training? Do you think?
It will be an interesting budget
I
cycle.
think no,
How is that gonna help us
I don't know.
figure it out?
I don't know. And I think everyone, I think everyone left kind of, what in the world?
Okay.
Now, they did explain the formulas, and Shelley thought that was beneficial, and I thought that's beneficial, but that's just my feeling.
It'll be an interesting budget cycle.
It will be.
Heather, do you have anything else?
No, I don't know.
Appreciate you guys carrying the load. I was tied up the last couple of weeks. This is my busy meeting week, so got a HERDA and a mental health meeting this week, so I'll get back into the routine of things there. Anything under old business? New business, let's talk about this lactation room a little bit. I don't know what the necessary requirements of that are.
Here's
Does it have to be a permanent room?
I did some research,
Thank you.
and, we did go back, we can clean this room, we can make it perfect, we could put up 2 walls and a door. But then you'd have to have a
Yeah, you
key,
got security issues there.
the security issues. So then I went over to the, because I have been in this boat, so I went over to the safe, the vault. You can go in there, we could put a cushy chair and a table, that's all we legally have to do, we do not have to do a sink. In
The
a lot
vault
of
right here?
No,
Yes,
yeah.
right in zoning. Zoning said that's perfect, shut the door, you can't hear. I said I would make a curtain that would completely cover the door. That would, you could go in, lock it, nobody can get in. So that would be perfectly private, it's big, way bigger. Technically, most of them are in big companies, are almost not much more than a closet.
Well, they're often
And it's-
multi-purpose rooms.
And it's all you really need, you don't need a
Is there
big
enough
space to pump.
ventilation in there though?
Oh, you're not in there long enough, Heather, to matter, it just takes a few minutes. It's, yeah, I've done that before, so it's not a big deal.
I don't know either.
So I had a thought, and I just wanna toss it out there, because that's our IT room,
Yeah, we don't have to do that.
That's less than ideal, though.
No, that's less than
The
ideal.
safe deposit box vault would
I'm-
be better. in
But
my
then they
opinion.
wanted us to build a room in the break room, and I think that would be a
Yeah.
closet. I just think I'd be
Well,
claustrophobic.
the other thing is, it's not gonna be used
It's not that
all the
long,
time.
a year
You know,
at
it's
the
for- It's
most.
for a
the
period
only
of time.
hesitancy I
period.
have is with the vault, is the ventilation. That's-
Oh, but you're
I wanna
not
make
in
sure
there.
that if she locks the door, that
Oh,
there's no
that's a
safety
big
issues or
room.
anything.
It's
Okay.
a pretty big room. It's as bigger than our vault.
Okay.
And I don't know, and you're not in there, it'll never be.
The door.
gonna happen.
The
Pardon?
door is,
Yeah,
it's not like completely
No.
closed, there's,
It's a,
there's
what do they call
bars
it,
in
cat,
it,
what do you call that? I think these are like a cash gate where the main vault door is open, but there's this other lock that's not, you know, it's
Oh, I see,
got
okay.
ventilation and
so
whatnot.
air and all
Day-
that stuff.
A day gate,
go
I think is what
through.
they call it.
Okay, so
And
how do we facilitate privacy, just put a curtain in front of the?
They've already asked if I would take spring rods and I would make, and I can make whatever they ask me to make. I will make whatever they
We can take a
ask.
look at it after the meeting, but I think that
Okay.
room would work
All right.
pretty decent.
Okay. Did they run it by the mom to see if she's okay with that?
Well, I don't know that, it has to be approved. I mean, we've offered a very clean, adaptable space. It's private, we can make it even more private. I don't know if we have to provide the chair, I didn't look on here.
We could provide a nice comfy chair, I mean, she could use one of these.
Yeah, well, yes, you could, that would work.
Yeah.
Okay.
And the table, I think there is a table in there.
Okay,
to
all
put
right.
your
All right,
machine.
well, I'll take a peek in there. We're done between our meetings today, but I think that might be a good solution.
And it was okay with you guys, isn't it?
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
fine.
All right.
Okay. Mention of persons on side during Bridge Festival.
This is what Jeff and Chip, and we've all discussed this. people are being pretty respectful of the sod, so I've made a bunch of cute signs, you saw them.
Yes.
We're gonna stick them all over the yard. And then we are gonna leave, if they don't stay off of it, we're gonna turn the sprinklers on.
Well, the reality, the grass is gonna be long, because you're not gonna be mowing it
No,
Yeah.
short. It's wet, it's really, I've had to walk on it to avoid a sprinkler on the sidewalk, it's not comfortable to
no,
walk
it's
in.
miserable.
And one or two people making sure, isn't gonna be a big deal,
No.
you just don't want 10,000 people trampling.
And we did 26 of those little worm signs, and we're gonna stick them all over, and we think they'll think, oh, they won't.
I think-
We're just gonna try to handle it in
No,
a
I
kind
think
of a
that'll be-
nice,
I think
stable.
that should work.
Yeah.
Okay, the courthouse project, we have a full meeting dedicated to that here in about a half hour. Comp plan, do you have anything on that?
Yes, tomorrow we are having, we'll reserve this room for the youth feedback on our comprehensive,
Oh,
on what
that'll
they
be
want to see.
interesting.
So we have all 3 school districts, and we also have some homeschoolers that will be represented. So they each have their own little time slot. So it goes from 9 to 2, I think.
9 in the morning?
Yeah, 9 in the morning to 2. So we have a lunch break in the middle, and then, yeah, it'll be interesting to
So
see.
like each group has like an hour or something?
Yeah, so you have Winterset, they're gonna have 2 kids from each school district.
How old are the kids?
High school.
Seniors or?
I don't know, the schools, first they found what they thought the kids would be good to, and willing to give feedback, and then they got permission from their parents. So Jim Smith was spearheading that. I just had to corral the homeschoolers, but he worked with all 3 school districts to coordinate that. So it'll be interesting to see, they tried to get a representative from rural and urban. So you have the farming versus the city, and this is part of most comprehensive plans where they can feedback
It'll be
section.
interesting how that compares to your.
It'll be interesting to see what kids, because usually they can't wait to grow up and be gone.
Yeah,
It'll
I
be
know.
interesting to see what they say.
I know. So that's tomorrow. Our next meeting isn't until October 23rd, but we just got another invoice request today, and they're about 72% done.
Wow,
So,
finally.
yeah, so I'm hoping that, hopefully by the end of the year, we'll have something to where, and then we can start the public meetings.
Then it'll be like a final draft, is that kind of?
It'll be a final draft, and then, I'm gonna talk to him and find out, do we do the final draft and then have the public meetings and then bring it to the supervisors, or do we bring it to the supervisors and then we have the public meetings? So,
I don't know.
I don't know which one you guys prefer.
I don't know that,
Does it
if
matter?
it's a draft anyway, so, yeah, our input, public input.
Mhm.
Then you'd make the
I don't really
tweaks
need
and it'd
to
be
revise it
final.
again between one and the other, do you?
Unless we as a board had
Drastic changes?
drastic changes.
Well, then we'd have to, there probably won't be, you know.
Well, the committee is very involved, and they give a lot of, immediately, like, I don't like this, or this is not gonna work for us, and so they've been doing some tweaking. There's some templates that they're using that's clear, that's very consistent with what you see in a lot of comprehensive plans, so some of those are being changed, like, no, that really doesn't apply to us. So, yeah, I'm very grateful for the committee, they're giving a lot of feedback, which I didn't
So-
think of.
Right after this is complete, then I would think ordinances would be easier because you already know the will of the people.
Mhm.
And then we can go right into ordinances, because I know you and I are seeing things that are not good things.
And there, not the entire committee, but there are members of the committee that request to be part of that too.
Have you ever thought of writing, Cy McDonald and I wanted this 30 years ago. I don't know if you can even do it. Writing fencing laws into abstracts, that would eliminate so much trouble.
They're
Just,
oftentimes in deeds.
or in deeds, write them right in the deeds. We did in ours. I
That
have
would
east,
probably be
west,
a
they have,
state level thing.
I don't know, I think a county could do that. And then you have, because fencing can become very.
Well, especially when you start to subdivide things, but all of a
Yes.
sudden it's not that meet in the middle right-hand rule, it's
Right.
kind of a, we're gonna subdivide this, but maybe the builder or developer's gonna put this fence in, but it's your responsibility.
Yes, and if you would have it right in their deed, I have to do east-west, it was wood, steel, 48-inch woven, barb on the top, barb on the bottom, period.
Isaac mentioned that those lots that butted up to lot A would require a fence.
But they have to make sure those people get that, and what does a fence mean? A piece of hot wire?
Yeah.
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 states it has it in our ordinances, what a lawful fence is.
Yeah,
Or at least 4 strands of barbed wire, isn't it?
I think it's
I can't-
3-strand bar.
I can't quote it, but it's in there, whether you go woven wire, or you go barb.
But there's a growing list of definite things that we need to update our ordinances.
And all these containers they're dragging in, that's getting to be more and more and more.
You know, I don't, it must be on your side of the county, 'cause I
It
don't
is.
see it on mine.
It's in mine, and it's a lot.
But yeah, so I don't think the comprehensive plan is gonna be the end of the committee, so to speak. I think it's just, they're
You
just.
think
gonna
they'll
be-
stay on it?
Not all of them, but there have been a few that have asked to be part of that process, so they can continue to get
Which would be
feedback.
nice, because they have the back.
There's, yeah, so we are blessed to have so many folks with.
But there's a little bit of a, that's kind of the zoning commission's area as well, so I'm not
Oh,
quite sure
yeah,
how
but
that.
they're not gonna have authority, they understand that, they just asked if they could be part of the process and helping, you know, if there's research needed or input needed, and, you know, we have, Ryan Marquardt is the chair of the zoning, commission.
Which is his
and-
background.
And he's on the committee too, so I think we're gonna have,
Oh, that makes it good.
yeah, I don't think, we're gonna be throwing Ryan to the wolves on that thing, I think there's gonna be both.
And people, I do have to bring out, people are loving the courthouse. We had a gentleman stop me.
Long time coming, but it's fine.
It is. Well, somebody said this morning, this is so gorgeous, it took you forever. I said, what to say it's gorgeous?
It didn't take forever, I can't beat that. I was talking to Travis Lincoln yesterday.
Well, with COVID in there, it missed
He's like,
everything.
we're gonna,
Well, but
we're gonna show you how a project should get done.
There are other
No
issues,
kidding.
Diane, they had to redo quite a bit of stuff.
Well,
Because it
I
wasn't
do,
done right.
and there's been a lot of excuse making, but it took me 2 years, or a year to get a chair, so I
All right, well, I
put things in perspective and
think
move
we're
on.
thankful we're getting her done.
Nothing in ordinance that I'm aware of. Ryan, any ordinances that you think need immediate updating?
I'd like to start finding people that start projects before they have the permits.
Oh, you can do that.
Say that again?
We've got a house they started their permit process, but we didn't approve their septic, because it was in, NRCS had recommended that they not have discharging systems in this, and they went in and completely moved all the dirt basically on the lot, so you can't put a lateral system in. So kind of, I don't know what they're gonna have to go to the HOA to get a variance from them to be able to put a discharging system in
From the HO,
from the homeowner association. But they've already got a basement in the ground, and they don't have a permit for septic or a building.
all right, there needs to be fines for
I
this stuff.
Well, can't you put an injunction on it?
Yeah,
I talked to Aaron about it, and it's one of those deals where you call the builder and they're like, you gave us a 911 address, so we thought that meant.
oh, no, they didn't
No,
think that.
that's not a very good.
But she did bring that to the attention. She's like, we could put an injunction on it.
You need to, Ryan, they'll build a house and put no septic in it? Come on. That's like permanent.
If they're a
porta-potties.
competent builder, they should know the process.
Yes.
And that's what I told her too, is like, if they do this on one occasion and we catch them and we bring it to their attention and they're completely blown away by, wow, we didn't mean to do this, but if we get them to do it 2 times or something, somebody that does it repetitively, I think we should have a list that says Madison County doesn't expect or doesn't accept you as a builder anymore.
Oh, that's interesting.
I know that's a possibility, especially with geo permits. You can have registered contractors, and then you can track.
So you kind of red flag them, the ones that won't be.
Yeah, that's that fine line between
Yeah. I don't know if we
being
can-
open and inviting or being like, well, kind of like Isaac was talking about earlier, you know?
Yeah.
But you don't, it's,
Something to consider.
that, I don't believe, it's easier to beg forgiveness and ask permission, and I
That
think
wasn't the only one.
Well, we
We've
don't
got
wanna
another
set
one
that
I was
standard.
notified
2 of
this
them have
morning.
done it?
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't wanna set that standard because then the standard is done by the other side, Diane. So I think that if they're not doing it right Ryan, we have ordinances for a reason. I think we need to enforce the ordinances. So we need to either have them stop building until they're compliant or until they get a permit.
Which is what they're doing.
Right. So they need to stop everything and then it needs, you need to follow
The
whatever
only,
the ordinance
the only
says.
issue I have with that is like $100 a day for a simple misdemeanor to somebody that has started something like that is nothing. I mean, it's like, okay, you started, here's a $1,000 fine.
And if that's.
Start off there.
So you're looking to possibly amend the fine, the amount of fine?
I have spent zero time looking at it. It's just like the frustration of it happening makes me think of ways to remedy.
Well, I think now that you have two, I think we need to work sooner rather than later to resolve that, so it doesn't keep going on. We can't have people flaunting our ordinances.
And
They're
once
for a
you
reason.
If you had $100 a day, a month adds up pretty quick, now you're talking $3,000, you know, it's not like you're talking $100.
It needs to be $1,000 a day,
Well,
but
I
they
think
need
we're
to-
limited under code on what we can charge.
We can find that out and go to the limit, but once you start this and if anybody gets away with it, it is gonna be tough.
Right. We need to, we need to.
You gotta nip
We
this.
don't wanna set the precedent that this is acceptable, or that we can, we just let it happen if they wait long enough, you know.
See what's
So,
Barney Fife say, nip it in the bud, we
Yeah.
gotta nip this.
I don't disagree.
Yeah.
Okay. Anything else for actual meeting?
Oh, I think we're
If
good.
not, can I have a motion to adjourn at 11:05?
So,
Motion by Diana, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Heather. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, any opposed? We are adjourned, so next meeting 11:30.
okay. Yes.